Hello, friends. So today I do want to discuss something very interesting. There's a huge possibility of a huge earthquake coming. As we were looking through many sites, we noticed that there's something that happened recently. This from University of Washington news is talking. It was just April 10th where they were discussing that there's happened to be a warm liquid spewing from Oregon seafloor comes from Cascadia Fault, and it's just happened recently. So there's a chance that there will be something huge in the near future. In the end of this video, I will also talk about a dream that someone just recently had, a brother of Christ. He recently had a dream, and it was really interesting, I guess I could say. So stay put and let me know at the end what you think about the dream and if you guys had anything similar. A lot of you know that there's a big, huge earthquake will be coming to the west coastline, Oregon, Washington, and California. But recently, as we heard this special news, that there is a huge spill, some kind of liquid coming out of the Cascadia Fault. So basically, according to the University of Washington, it shows, if you look at the pictures, and this is for washington.edu, recent news. So it shows how it's like spilling forth. The liquid is coming from the ground and it's coming from the Cascadia fault line. It's very interesting how the scientists are stating they're not very alarmed, but then they're stating there's a current risk of a large earthquake on the Cascadia subduction zone. So basically, they're not concerned. They don't want to, I guess, make people panic. But they're stating it threatens to unleash a magnitude 9 earthquake in the Pacific Northwest. So it's, yeah, you can read it on your own and kind of look into it, see what you think. But it's this happened recently, and it's in the seafloor about 50 miles off Newport, Oregon. So very interesting news. A lot of my friends who are watching earthquake channels, they're stating, yes, this is big news, and this is very important to know. If you look at this other news, this one is talking, there's big holes in the ground, but you can actually see how something is coming out of it. And it's throughout the ocean floor. Like I said, near about 50 miles near Newport Beach in Oregon. That's like very close to Washington. And they're stating there's a crack of doom, red alert, a magnitude 9 mega earthquake off Pacific coast. As a crack was discovered at the 600-mile fault at the bottom of the ocean. So as you see, this is pretty recent, and as this happened, people are very concerned. They're not sure if they should be concerned, like if they should start moving really quick, or they should kind of be on the lookout, kind of know that things are happening and things could happen fast. We as Christians should not be scared. We should not be concerned. We should not be panicking. If you live on the West Coast, you should probably start being serious and start praying to God, asking Him what He wants you to do. You may be in a spot in the area where you'll be safe. You may be needed, if something does happen, you may be needed for guidance and helping others. So all of us have a different job. So it just depends how things will happen and where God wants you to be. So see, this is just kind of shows everything the same way. And they said it stretches from California all the way to Canada. It's called Cascadia subduction zone. So yeah, it's very interesting, especially when you look at the crack. They're called the crack of doom, red alert for magnitude 9 mega earthquake. And if you look down, you see a lot of people are talking about it. It's just huge, huge news. And even like 2 days ago, this one is saying apocalyptic earthquake can be actually be triggered. And so yeah, it's just very. I think it's very important to kind of be aware. And if you look here, it actually kind of shows how it happens. So can you see how it's coming out and the actual air is coming out or some kind of liquid, I guess they're stating. So it almost looks like maybe possibly kind of heat or who knows, dust maybe. So yeah, well, if it makes scientists concerned, I would be kind of concerned too. So as you see, friends, we have to be prayerful. We need to be aware that things can happen anytime, they can change. And this video was taken by Pythias Oaz's movie. This is from the actually from the University of Washington, same as the news from there we were reading about. And so let's jump into the dream portion of this, and I will be able to let you know. So as we were kind of discussing this, a friend of ours or a brother of Christ, he has told us a dream that he had sometime in the mid of March, and he said he was in a excuse me. He was in some kind of like a special conference discussing the end times. And as they were kind of discussing things, that night he had a dream. And he had a dream that he was in Washington State, not too far from Canada, about maybe 40 miles from Canada. And as he was walking down like the streets where he used to live, he was kind of discussing, he was kind of looking around all the favorite places. His relatives lived there, and he was kind of looking around and thinking. And then he heard a voice, and a voice said, "Man of God, man of," let me translate this better. I'm not sure, like maybe son of man, probably yes. So, son of man, tell this area that in 9 weeks there will be total destruction. A total destruction that will happen in 9 weeks. And as he looked around, he couldn't see who was talking to him. He looked at the sky, he looked at the people, and he couldn't figure this out. He was like, wow, who's talking to me? And then he saw two American boys, possibly like teenagers, and they came and they said, what did God say to you? And at first he kind of denied everything, like, oh, well, he didn't say anything to me. And then they kept asking him, what did God tell you? And then he finally said, he was kind of surprised that they actually knew that God told him something. And he kind of said, well, this is what I heard. I heard it said, son of man, tell the people that in 9 weeks there will be total destruction. And there will be, so he doesn't know what will happen exactly, an earthquake or what will happen, but he just heard there will be destruction. And as he looked, he told them, they kind of said thank you and they ran away. And so in his dream, he was kind of very concerned, and he felt like I'm gonna go tell my relatives. So he went to his mom's house, mom-in-law's, and he kind of told her the story. And then he talked to his other relatives, telling them the story. And some pastor was yelling at him because he couldn't believe that this would even happen. He said, "Don't even spread the falsehoods. This will not happen. We like to live here. We like it here. So don't spread it." And he was kind of upset at him. Um, but he was kind of, well, I'm just gonna warn people, if this is will happen, I have to tell them. And then he went to his brother's house. He talked there, and then he saw those boys came back to him, the ones he talked to earlier, and they said, "Here are our 11 people, our family, our relatives, our parents." And they said, "We will listen to you. We will go where you want us to go. We don't want to be in a zone of destruction. We don't want to die here." And he woke up. He was kind of like very, very, like in cold sweat, I guess, very upset at the dream. And he was like, "Whoa, this is unreal." And and then he's like, "Okay, fine. I guess I'll go sleep again, go back to bed." So he went back to sleep, and he has a second dream. A second dream is when he is actually going back to his homeland, back to his home where he lives, and he is talking to his family about how things are happening, how he, like in his dream, he's actually telling them about the dream that he had. And then he woke up and he's like, "Whoa, why am I talking about this dream?" And then he went back, like he walked around a bit and he went back asleep. And then a third dream is, and he sees a third dream. And this dream, he's in his house talking to his sister. Or he's like thinking, "I'm gonna go tell my sister." And as he is, like, I think his sister lives in Washington, I believe. I'm not sure really. And then so I'm like walking, he's like walking down to talk to her, and he sees her, and she's walking towards him with like bags and holding on to things, and like you see people from the airport. And he's asking her, he's like, "Where are you coming from? Did you just fly in?" And because I guess and then he's telling her, don't you know what will happen in Washington, Oregon, and California soon? There will be something terrible happening. I had a dream about it." And like he's telling her in a dream what he had, what kind of dream he had. And then he's looking at her, and her face is so sad. And she's saying, "It's already happened. You're late. It's too late to say this dream. And look behind you." And he said, and I looked behind her, and he could see behind her is destruction. And she's like, "Well, only our relatives were able to get what could get in just barely anything." And he woke up, and as he woke up, he was really shaken. And so that was his dream. So like they always say in the Bible, a dream is like a dream, but a warning is always a warning. It may be a warning to start praying more. It may be a warning for you to think more. The 9 weeks will be over. I think he said it possibly May 17th to the end of May, possibly that kind of area time frame. So that would be like the final 9 weeks, done with 9 weeks. Because in his dream, he actually heard there will be destruction in 9 weeks. And as we count the weeks, we could see that it comes to the middle of May. But like I said, we can really never know. Possibly by prayer of God's people, the time frame will be moved. Possibly people will start worrying about this. They will cry out to God, because really God is asking us to repent, and God is asking us to love Him and ask Him what He wants us to do. And if in your life, if there were hints that you should be moving from the West Coast, maybe this is another hint for you. But like I said to everyone and my family and friends who live there, ask God what He wants you to do. Ask Him. And a lot of you know that my family moved from California about a year ago. So now I feel like we're in a safe place. God has He wanted us to move. And when my one of our pastor friends who was concerned about us, he was crying out to God about a year ago when we were still in California. He had a dream that he saw half of California were on fire and another half was destroyed. And as he saw that, he knew in his dream that do not be concerned, because the family that you're praying about, they're not there. So, as you see, my friends, now is the time to pray. Now is the time to ask God what He wants you to do. And hopefully, it will give you hope that God is close to you. He can listen to you. He will tell you what to do. Stay well, and God bless you.